But like, for example, somebody might do the value of their car, right? They might be like, okay, I own my car, so the value, the blue book value on it is 5,000. So I'm going to put that into my net worth column. Okay. This you guys want to be very careful about, because the whole reason that we would want to figure out what our net worth is, right? Our assets minus our liabilities, is to actually see a true picture of it, right? So if you take your car and you say the blue book value is 5,000, but the truth is, if you were to sell your car right now because you needed to have cash available to you, would you really get 5,000? Right? So what you really want when you're doing it, so for different things like that, it's like, if I went to sell all this stuff right now, if I had a yard sale or I tried to sell it, what would I actually really get for it? That's the actual real value. Okay. What somebody says is of value. So just because somebody says something is of value, or they want it to be of that value, doesn't necessarily mean it's of that value. Right? What really, and I get this a lot when I'm selling, when I go to list somebody's home. First question I always say to them is, what would you like to get for your home? And they might give me a number, and I'll say, well, how did you come up with that number? And they'd say, well, this person has their house listed for there, and this person has their house listed for that. Well, just because everybody has their house listed for that doesn't mean that's what it's going to sell for, right? The determining value is what is actually somebody willing to come to the table for and pay for that, right? All right. So why would somebody want to know their net worth? Here's the thing I want you guys to think about, because what I want to do is I want to start tweaking your thinking a little bit. Okay. Is your home actually an asset? Is your home actually an asset, right? So to me, if you have your home paid for and that's part of your retirement plan, if your home is paid for and that's part of your retirement plan, what that does is it decreases your debt. It means that you need less money to live off of. That's why we talk about decreasing unhealthy debt. Okay. Decreasing unhealthy debt. It means we need less to live off of. If your mortgage payment is $1,000 a month, 1,500, 2,000, and by the time you retire, you no longer have that, you have decreased your debt, which has given you more money to live off of. Okay. But does that necessarily make your home an asset? If we're trying to increase our net worth, right, and we want to grow our cash flow, I would say that your home is only beneficial to you that way if you are taking equity and taking things like that and using it to make more money, right? So something to think about. Like, you got to figure out what your financial plan is and what you want to do with that. All right. So what happens is, when people have been paying their home off for years and years, and they've been growing their bank account, right? What they start really understanding is the parable of the talent, where you have like this money and it sits in the bank, or this money and it sits in your home equity line of credit, and it doesn't actually increase wealth for you. Okay. So those are the kind of things that you want to think about. What's your financial plan? Why do I really want to know what my net worth is? If I'm trying to grow in a place of passive income, like what do I really want to look like? So the reason I say that is this: a lot of times when people get into real estate investing, they want to do a flip, right? They want to do a flip. Okay. So they do a flip. The average profit off of a real estate investment is about $25,000, right? If you are going to make less than 20,000, you really don't want to do that. Okay. It's really not worth your time to try to do a flip that might take you 7 months to a year. Right. And especially if you think you're going to estimate 20,000, you're probably going to do less. So you really want to make sure that your numbers are inflated, where it's like, okay, if I think I'm going to make 20,000, I'm probably going to make 10,000, especially if you're new at it. Right. But the reason, but if you think about it, once you make that money and then you spend the money's gone. Like, what's the purpose of doing a flip so that the money would get spent and be gone? Because when you're earning money like that, it's actually, now to me, the purpose of maybe doing a flip. Okay. And depending on the tax bracket that you're in, you could earn 20,000 and you might end up paying 10,000 on that, which means you actually earn 10,000. Right now, I know a military guy who tries to buy 2 flips a year. Now in this market, is he going to find that? No, probably not. Right. Because there's a season to do everything. You're probably not going to find that in this market. But he tries to buy 2 flips, 2 homes a year. He's in the military. So what do I always say? The best time to increase your wealth is when you don't need the money, right? Because now it's just extra money. So it's extra money you don't live off of. You're mentally okay to. Here's what happened. So here's what happens, you guys. I talk to everyone. And one of the things I really would like for you guys to start doing, right? Well, we already do. That's why you guys are in this financial coaching, is listen really well. Listen really well. Listen. Ask questions. Every opportunity you can get. That's what I've been doing for over 25. Every opportunity that you can get to really ask people questions like that. And what I have found is everyone's answer is always the same. It doesn't matter whether it's real estate, direct sales network marketing. If you start picking people's brains with direct sales network marketing, what do they find out? What do they find out is you have to work, right? You have to show the jewelry. You have to sell the product. You have to actually do work. And then you have to figure out what your profit is. And nothing happens by accident, right? It isn't. So it's what work am I going to do? How much time am I going to spend versus the work, and am I okay with that dollar amount, right? So you guys, really, one of the things I want to start encouraging you to do, if you haven't yet, is to figure out your net worth. Okay. Then you want to take a look at what's cash flow. All right. So cash flow is money that you have coming in that's extra. In this vocabulary, we're going to use it's extra that you can use to make more money. Right. So it's not money earned. Cash flow is extra that we can use to make more money, specifically for making more money. And you guys have a formula. You guys should have a formula in your mind for when you're ready to maybe do something like that. Maybe you already invest like in a 401k or stocks, or maybe you're thinking about investing in real estate. But what I feel like is, have 1 full year's worth of bills in the bank as cash on hand. Right. And I think once somebody has cash on hand, at that point, okay, like with some of the investors I work with, at that point, you start going, okay, what's the point of, I need a water. What's the point of having cash on hand? Right? It gets to the point after 1 full year's worth of bills in the bank where you're like, well, I can be using that money to make more money. And it's not hurting you because you have cash on hand. Right? So that's what I want you to think about as far as your net worth goes. But it's good to figure that out. And what you want to do is, you want to be increasing your net worth every year. Okay. Now, your net worth increases if you own a home and you pay on it every month. However, it doesn't increase if, let's say it increases $500 a month. It doesn't increase if you keep increasing debt. Do you see what I mean? So it's super, super important to know what what assets you have minus your liabilities, right? And so that's a financial thing that people don't ever really think about. And if they were looking at it monthly, twice a year, or once a year, then I believe that they would start making different financial decisions, right? So that's one of the reasons why you want to take a look at your net worth. You might be making different financial decisions if you looked at it regularly. So you have to decide for yourself, how regularly do you want to look at this? If you're in this Proverbs 31 lifestyle coaching community, I hope that you're finally getting to the point where it's like, yeah, I actually need to block out time to take a look at my finances, or else what am I doing? Right? I want to take time to block out and take a look at my finances, right? So I recommend a minimum of 2 hours a week, right? To review your schedule, review your finances. Okay. So I'm going to jump now to, quick question. Did you guys feel like I explained that sufficiently, or did what I say to you cause you to have any questions? Anyone?
I think you explained it sufficiently, but I would welcome the opportunity to hear it a few more times.
Yes. Yep. So that's what I was thinking this year. I was like, I never actually talk about net worth to anyone. I say that your net worth is direct. Thank you, Debbie, is directly linked to your net worth, right? So that's power of association. And honestly, what that basically means is just like with the 2021 mastermind, you guys got an opportunity to invest a little bit of money and you're going to double it, right? And next year you're going to get an opportunity to do that again. Why? Because of the association, right? Because of knowing me, right? And this is what I tell people. If you don't, like right now, I'm telling all of my real estate clients, because it's a hard time to find a house, right? I mean, I've got investors who want to buy a house to invest. but just because you have money doesn't mean you spend it. We're not looking for just a house to buy. We're looking for a house to buy that's going to be profitable. I want them to be profitable. I want them to make a financial choice that's going to have peace of mind. So we could look at 10 houses and that's not going to be the investment, right? Oh, this is an old house. Terry, what about this house? No, it's too old. We're going to have to put too much money into it. Like, we're not looking to just throw a tenant in a place, and that's not what we do. We're looking for a sound financial investment, right? And it does get to the point where it's like, okay, I have all this money now. What am I going to do with it? Why not use it to increase? But so what I realized was I never really talked to anybody about their net worth or even really know if anybody even understands that. So thanks, Debbie. That's why I'm going to start like touching on it more and more now, right? However, so let me talk about a time blocking thing. All right. And that has to do with money. All right. So I was talking to someone who's an at-home mom, and they just started a t-shirt business. Okay. And well, so she averages about $100 in 2 to 3 hours. Okay. So if she makes $100 a day times 5 days, it's the same thing as if what she waitressed. Right. So this is what I told her. You guys, you can do that with paparazzi business. You can do that with selling jewelry. How much money do you make in 3 hours when you go live? If you go live for 3 hours and you sell 50 to 60 pieces, that's $100. Honestly, right? 50, 60 pieces times 2, give or take a little taxes, stuff like that. That's $100. So you could position yourself to do that if you wanted to. I personally don't want to position myself to do that. I personally want to grow a team, right? But if you needed the money, Cindy says it all the time. If I need money, all I got to do is just start showing jewelry. It's actually available there. Do you need $100? Now, is it not profit? But if you need $100 real quick because something came up, just sell 20 pieces. Now, can you replenish that if you spend all the $100 on the bills? No, but you had it available to you real quick, right? You had it available to you real quick. Oh my gosh, this thing just came up. I need to go live real quick, right? You had it available to you, or I need to set up someplace. So you have it available to you. You just got to decide how you want to make the money. But this is what I told her. See, so if she works 2 hours and makes $100 doing the t-shirts, that's $50 an hour. Okay. This is where people think wrong. They start to chase the dollar. I shouldn't say think wrong, because if this is how they want to think, they can. But usually what somebody will be like is, ooh, if I work 40 hours a week at $50 an hour, I make $2,000. But that's not generally how it works out when you're an entrepreneur, right? I mean, that's not the reason to be an entrepreneur, is to have more time freedom, right? So really what you would want to do, so this is what I explained to her. Okay, so if you can know that you can work 2 hours, 5 days a week, that's 10 hours and make $500. So you've worked 10 hours and made $500. So if you want to increase by $100 because you want an extra $100, so go ahead and work 2 more hours, right? Now you've got 100 times 4, you've got $400 a month you can make money off of, put in the bank to grow more, right? Okay. But if you want to make another $100, learn how to make an extra $100 in the 12 hours. Stop increasing your time. Start to expand your brain and think about, what can I do to make more? That's what we do with the direct sales network marketing. And if we can get people to understand this concept, right? Now, I'm way better at showing this on a board. Okay. But if you can get people to understand this concept, and they keep understanding this concept, and then they start to learn how to do that, that's how you start to grow a team and leverage your time. Okay. But you got to decide for yourself. But this is, let me tell you, when I got into a direct sales network marketing, one of the big things I pulled from it was a guy who was at a top level. I didn't understand it in the beginning when I heard it. I didn't understand it because I was 22, right? Now that I've reviewed tapes, because what do I say? Listen to stuff over and over again. Because who knows? I mean, I'm 28 years later, I'm older. I've experienced more. Now I listen to something like that and I heard it differently. But one of the reasons he was doing a business like that was because he had friends who didn't have money. So he's like, hey, do a direct sales network marketing with me, grow money. Now you can do real estate investing with me. Right? And then it just increases from there. So here's the thing I want people to really pull from that also is, listen, money, just remember, making money is not bad. It's not bad. Stay content with where you are. Always be thankful. That's why we encourage, like, on a daily, right? Write down what you're thankful for in the workbook. Write down what you're thankful for. Always live in a spirit of thankfulness, right? Always live in a spirit of thankfulness. Be content, but know that it's okay to increase and advance more. And then know it's okay also to not, right? Sometimes there are seasons where you don't have opportunity to increase and advance more, but you're still okay financially. But if you got opportunity, why not? Like Debbie said, something that you can do to learn, right? Because business growth is, what am I learning to grow my business? What am I learning to increase? What am I learning to increase income? How am I retaining customers? Okay. So here's the thing about paparazzi. And if you watch the cycle also, you've probably been in long enough, Debbie, that you've experienced it. And this is for any direct sales network marketing business, right? People go in and out of the business. And what happens is customers already like the stuff. So now they're looking for a new consultant. Okay. It's not your fault that they went in and out of the business, right? But what happens is, when the longer you stay in the business, the longer your customer base grows. My comment sold site has 650 customers. Okay. Do they all shop for me every single week? No, but I bet you, right? But they come back during the different flows of times, right? Sometimes you have some people who shop once a month. Sometimes you have people who shop 2 or 3 times a year. Sometimes you have those who shop regularly with you, right? But now, if I would have had it on email marketing and I've been doing a piece a day, look, what's going to happen? Somebody's having a wedding. Somebody's having this. You're going to be the first person on their mind. Gary Kellum wrote a book called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. All right. And in that, and I believe this applies to every single type of business. He talked about 33 touches. How many times? But it is what businesses are trying to gear towards. For me, I'm just like, okay, but how is it actually growing a profit? But like the email marketing thing, if you do a piece a day, right? Here's a photo, click on the link, then it takes them right to your shopping cart, right?
I just got your text.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
The one that I sent. So see how I didn't have to be on there, right? I can pre-schedule it. Same thing with email. You can, so people are like, oh my gosh, email is so much. No, what you can do is you can map out, you can even just block out a day and map out all your emails for the whole month if you want to. You can do it by the week, or you can do it by the month. You can do it for the whole year if you want to, if you're sending out one email. Now, do I think that a piece a day in an email is too much? Yes. I think if you send out one email a week, that's 52 weeks. One email a week, 52 weeks. Here's what's going to happen with that. What's going to happen with that is, just like we talked about in our real estate office, which I think I've said before, but we know hearing something over and over again is good, right? There was a guy who did a training and he said, people think email marketing is not out, but I'll tell you what, the guy who did my floors did a good job. Like 2 years later, now this guy sends out an email every week for his company, every week. 2 years later, somebody asked the guy who did your floors, can I get his number? He's like, I don't know his number, right? And then he remembered that the guy sends him an email every week. So he forwarded the guy's information to the one who wanted it, right? That was a referral 2 years later. Okay. So if you're in business and you're staying in business, it's like, what are you doing to stay in business, to stay connected with people, right? Because people are going in and out of business. It's not the customer's responsibility to stay connected with us. It is our responsibility to stay connected with them. What happens in the online space is we're looking for, hey, we're taught things like, hey, reply to people who are commenting on your comments. Yes, right? We want to engage. We want to be in people's lives. We want to connect. That's a real authentic thing, but it's not their responsibility to stay connected with us as far as like marketing our products. It's our responsibility to stay connected with them. It's my responsibility as a realtor to stay connected with people if I want them to take me seriously, right? If I'm not a serious realtor, then people aren't going to, buy a house from me. But if I know that I'm doing it, it's on my mind, I'm staying up to date with things, how are they going to know that? To me, email marketing is one of the best things. A lot of the stuff I buy, and I talk to a lot of people, email is how they'll, I can tell you this right now. I cannot stand the flood of emails I get. I feel like I take 45 minutes to delete email. But guess what? When it's Christmas time and I want a Bath and Body Works coupon, right? Do I delete? Do I unsubscribe to Bath and Body Works? No, because when Christmas time comes and I want a Bath and Body Works coupon, I want their email. So I'm deleting them throughout the whole year. Christmas time comes and I know they have their sale. What do? I look at every single email. That's how email marketing works, right? You could have somebody on your friends list and all of a sudden they know somebody who's getting married and they're going to be like, hey, that paparazzi consultant sent me something every week, right? That's how that works, right? Realtor Jojo, right? Send some kind of something every week. Financial something. All right. Now, what I like about Constant Contact, I'm not sure if that's the one I'm going to use. What I like, but I've used it in the past. What I like about Constant Contact is that you can schedule it. You can do the same thing. You see what I showed you with the community, with the texting. You can create different, like I could be like Proverbs 31 community, and I can send an email that would go like to all of you guys. The reason I'm not sure about that is I don't know if I'm going to, right now, websites and like my Kajabi and all these things offer an email type thing, right? But everybody always wants a one-stop system. But here's what I want to tell you. The reason that I don't like that is sometimes I like things separate, right? But in reality, they're in relationship with you. So people are in a relationship with you. So I feel like email marketing is something that is effective because I know that that's how I shop a lot of times, right? A lot of the different, me finding Kajabi was someone connecting me through email. I clicked on something, they captured my email. I don't even know them. They captured my email. They constantly sent me stuff on Kajabi. I ended up looking it up. Now they make $57 a month every month off of me being off of Kajabi. Right? This is the systems I kind of want to help you start moving, you guys moving into also. But here's the thing. Remember, always when we're looking to advance financially, we stay content, right? And the reason we can stay content is because we're not chasing the dollar, right? We're decreasing unhealthy debt while we're increasing our income, growing our net worth, growing our bank account, which then increases our ability to give more. Because when our income increases, our 10% increases, right? Our 10% increases. So, but anyway, you guys, so every week also I'm going to do the thing with your time scheduled, take away, block out every minute, just like you tell every dollar where to go before it comes in, right? Block out everything on your time schedule. Where are you going to put your time? And that means times of rest also. That means times of watching TV, times of, because what people, I said to JoJo the other day, I said, JoJo, this is a season now. Things are opening up and I'm looking for people to volunteer 2 hours a month. Can you volunteer 2 hours a month? She said, I don't think so, Terry. She said, I got to get back with you. Right. And really that should be her response. Let me take a look at my planner. Right. She might say, oh, I can't, but you know what? Maybe 3 months from now, I might be able to give you 2 hours once a year. I'll take 2 hours once a year. You know what I mean? Why? Because I'm looking for people to collect food, looking for somebody to drive the food here. Right. See, we don't lack resources. Distribution is always the problem. That's why people don't understand that when they commit their time, they volunteer their time to stand and collect food, or they do something like that. It matters. It matters because it mattered to somebody who needed it, right? Distribution is always is always a challenge. How are we going to take the resources we have, collect it, and then distribute it to where it needs to go? Is always a challenge, right? So people don't even realize, but you can't volunteer time if you can't pay your electric bill or you're stressed out financially, right? So time block, stay focused on growing your income, but while staying content, right? For me, it's like I want to make a certain dollar amount in a certain time frame, and how can I keep growing that? Right? We talk about what we feed our mind. So if we're feeding our mind, good things, that's what we're always talking about. However, we also have to give our mind opportunities to rest so that we can actually think about what we're thinking about. Think about why we're doing what we're doing. right? Think about, and what happened was I got 2 or 3 really good opportunities present itself to me this week. And I had to really, really think about stuff. And what I realized is I don't want any more opportunities. I don't want any more opportunities. I like the schedule that I keep. I like what I'm doing with the workbook. I, want to find, I want to help women improve their quality of life, right? Keep balance in their life. I want to always want to do this, right? I won't want to do this if I have too much on my schedule also, right? Because then you'll feel like, oh, it's one more thing to do. I always want to do this because, like I was talking to Steve, my husband the other day, is that's why people fall off track. The whole purpose of the groups like this, is to avoid the drift. Avoid the drift. Stay focused on what you have in your mind. And then advance. Avoid the drift. Pay attention to what you have in your mind. Advance. Learn. Change if you have to. Advance. Right? Stand your ground. We cannot drift backwards. The drift is dangerous. Right? The drift is dangerous. So we don't want to drift backwards in our finances. We want to advance. We want to always constantly improving our relationships. We want to be having more time. Right? Depending on, you can only play so much. Like I always tell someone, you can only vacation so much. You always want to be doing something. That's why I'm so ready to organize a food drive. Can I drift in Vegas? We didn't say you can't have fun. You just can't, and listen, purposefully spending money to have fun is not drifting if it was purposeful. Right? But listen, if you're purposefully saving money to spend, right? Like if you, we're talking about finances here. If you purposefully, hey, I'm going to sell this amount of jewelry because I want to spend this amount when I go, that's not drifting. That's purposeful, right? So we got to know drifting is when you don't realize that you're going backwards because you're not paying attention any longer. But to purposefully do something is not drifting. So you guys, you will see this though. I still get up and I have my time with God and I still exercise. I exercise more on vacation than I do. I might be the only person in my family who exercises on vacation. Like seriously, they're like, you're on vacation.
The only person I know.
Yeah. No, I know people exercise when they go away. I know people who do that, but I might be the only person in my family who, I don't know, maybe this year Steve will exercise with me when we go, but I, because it's a way of life for me. I don't take a vacation from what's lifestyle for me, so, or else it wouldn't be, like, I don't feel like I need a vacation from taking care of myself physically. It's like just part of my daily routine, but yeah. So think about what you want to do to stay connected with your customer base, right? How, are you, pay attention to your net worth, are we increasing every year? Like how often do you want to check that out? Do you want to check it out quarterly? Do you want to check it out twice a year? How often will you take a look at your net worth? Maybe in the beginning, you might need to look at it quarterly. Maybe in the beginning, if you're learning what that looks like, you might want to look at it every month for 6 months, right? To learn it. And then after that, you move to quarterly, right? So, okay, I'm going to learn how to figure out my net worth. I'm going to do it every month for 6 months. And then once I know how to do it, then I'm going to check it quarterly so that we make sure that we're always advancing financially, right? The Bible talks about money growing little by little, money earned little by little, right? So we want to grow our net worth little by little. The reason people, they've grown their net worth little by little. Then it gets to the point where it's duplication and multiplication. But without the deceitful thing is people think that it's like somebody was at a certain point and then all of a sudden the next year they were here. No, they weren't. Because you didn't see all the stuff in between. You didn't see all the stuff in between. Right. So maybe do it every month for like 6 months. You got to decide for yourself, like, how will I look at that? Why do I want to look at that? And then once you start doing, what happens once we start doing an exercise, then we start understanding why we do it. Right. Like I tell everybody, create the debt-free minimum budget, create the debt-free comfortable budget, to create the debt-free, this is my dream budget. Okay. Until you actually do it, then when everybody, like 7 months into the group was like, oh, I created the debt-free minimum budget. Now I understand why I'm doing this. Now I understand what I'm looking at. So every time we do an exercise, we're understanding why we're doing it. Okay. But we want to advance financially, not go backwards. All right. Okay. I'm going to tell you what, and if you're not doing these things, inflation makes it so that you go backwards. If you've lived long enough, you know that you cannot keep up with inflation from a paycheck raise. Okay. Your paycheck will not keep up with inflation. So, all right, you guys, love you.